Okay, folks, and we are live here on NerdtoKnowBasis, trying this once again. Hopefully, this works this time. We're on Twitch over on NerdDux, so NERDDUX. I'll probably change that to Nerd to Know Media at some point, like I did last week.
Yeah.
My name is Darrell Connor, and I'm joined by my co host, Mr.
Keenan
Keane O'Connell.
Calicon, always thrilled to be here.
How are things, Kane? How are you, man? Great to talk to you.
Very well, thanks. There's been a lot of exciting nerdy TV news this week, so I'm raring to go on this one.
Oh, there's so much to get into. For anyone who didn't check the show out last week, or for anyone who might be joining us on Twitch, go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com and check out our retrospective on the Spider-Man series. Man, I really enjoyed that. I think that's one of my favorite pieces of radio I've ever done.
Oh, well, I'm thrilled to hear it. Yeah, it was. I mean, I've been telling my friends, like, it was great to get to watch Spider-Man movies as, research for work. That was a genuinely wonderful experience. And I didn't know a lot of the cartoon and comic stuff you told me. So, yes, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, like it was cool to kind of pull it all together and really have it there. So if anyone is a big Spider-Man fan, do go check that out. I actually got to see Far From Home last night. So
Lovely. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on it.
well, what we'll do is we'll keep it. We won't get into spoilers because I know it's weird. It came out like on a Monday night, so Tuesday it was like the main release day. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is slightly peculiar. Like usually they kind of do the big weekends and stuff, don't they?
But the reason why I think that was because it's at the moment now it's the 4th of July in the States, so I think it was to catch that opening the holiday.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
So I guess that's the only kind of logic I can think about it. Like I know a couple of movies open around this time of year, but it's the first time that I can remember of having a Spider-Man movie kind of just appear. So yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's my one word review on it is it's better than Homecoming. Homecoming was pretty decent, but this is way bigger. Has much bigger scope, much bigger scale. Kind of delves into the mythos a bit, and look, if you like the first one, you really enjoy it. It's kind of like Iron Man 4 as well. It ties up everything. So yeah, go check it out. We'll get more into it when you see it, Kane.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I'd still, because I may not get to see it for some time,
Right.
it'd be like, without getting into too much into spoilers, what is Far From Home about, broadly speaking?
Yeah, so it picks up directly after the ends of Endgame, right? So everyone is back. Iron Man is dead. Captain America's dead. Black Widow's dead. So it's about the world kind of dealing with it, and it's Peter Parker trying to live up to Iron Man. Everybody's asking him, "Are you going to be the next Iron Man?" He's like, "No, I can't. I can't. I can't." And that's kind of what it is. It's a very small scale story for a lot of it, and then he goes off to Europe on a school trip, and events ensue. So yeah, we got to see Mysterio, man. I never thought I'd get to see Mysterio in live action. I always love Mysterio, going all the way back. So that was cool. Jake Gyllenhaal kills it. He's one of the best Marvel characters. His arc is really, really good, and then
Oh,
it's
that is
brilliant.
high praise.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The whole Spider-Man series for Marvel in general have had some really good characters. With Michael Keaton and then with Jake Gyllenhaal. Excellent casting, fantastic. There are some weak points in it. It's very, very, very slow. That's the point, and then it kind of builds up. So, yeah, look, buy a ticket, man, if you can, and anyone listening. If you've seen it as well, we have a chat, so leave your thoughts in the chat as well. But from there, MCU predictions. There's a lot of talk about where things are going to go, and this is one thing you wanted to touch on, Keen. What are you hearing about the MCU?
Well, that's the thing. I've heard nothing, and I've been used to having, like, in 5 years' time, there'll be this film. In 10 years' time, there'll be the Inhumans. I feel like we've had that stream of information going, since the first Avengers, and now it's very eerily quiet. I've heard some rumors of a Doctor Doom movie,
Yeah.
but even that could be left over from the merger. We don't know if that's going ahead. So honestly, I don't know where we're going. Where would you, like, have you heard anything yourself?
Well, without getting too much into spoilers, and I don't want to do it, it does kind of set, like, Far From Home sets the table in a lot of things. It's some of it's in space. They touch on the wider universe. They touch on Captain Marvel. They kind of set up
Okay.
where Thor is. So they are kind of like wiping the slate clean and kind of making the scope of the MCU a little bit bigger in the very much the same way the Guardians of the Galaxy did. But that said, I think they're kind of waiting for the next one. They do set up Submariner, which is cool. Like random reference to
I
Submariner.
I thought that because there was a mention of like underwater earthquakes
Yeah,
in Avengers Endgame, and I thought, oh, okay, are they doing him like?
yeah. So I think that's coming down the pipeline. And then, of course, they will start having the Fantastic Four. Doctor Doom looks like it's probably going to be one of the first ones. But here's the biggest rumor I've heard. Deadpool is looking to be in Spider-Man 3.
Right.
And it's looking like Norman Osborn might be played by Tom Hanks as the big villain. So that would be crazy, right?
Well, I mean, fair play to him acting against type, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, no disrespect to him, I cannot see that working, but that is interesting. I like that. That's cool.
Well, see, I think, having that kind of turn would be good. Like, they do bring back a very, very famous character from the Raimi movies, played by the same actor in Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm not going to ruin it, but,
if it's who I'm hoping it is, I won't get you to say, but I'm excited.
Yeah, it probably is, and it's in the post-credit sequence, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is fantastic!" So yeah, they're aware of what makes the fans happy, and they go out of the way to do it. So I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to get into it too much, but do go check it out.
Tell you what, before we leave Far From Home altogether,
right?
Do you think it's a good continuation of the huge standard that Avengers Endgame left? Do you think it organically continues the Marvel Universe? Because a lot of people are worried that Avengers Endgame is so good, but it feels so complete, and then there's almost nowhere to go in the Marvel Universe.
No, it is, and you could walk away from Endgame. I did a show after seeing it where I pretty much like, yeah, you can walk away from it, and you can. And look, unless you really want to, you don't have to continue watching the MCU movies. But I would say if you're a fan and you're into it, this builds up on the threads that were left over. It's smaller in scale, it's more focused, it's a character piece in some ways, but it is it is a worthy successor.
Yeah. And I know we can't get into spoilers. I know you said to set up a few things, but if you were the Kevin Feige and all this kind of stuff, what kind of Marvel stories, Marvel movies would you like to see in the next 4 or 5 years?
I think Doctor Doom is the best way to go.
Yeah.
And look, don't forget as well, the Disney Plus shows they're coming, and they're going to be hitting a whole array of characters. So I would say the main thing is set up your big villain, set up your big bad, and at the very end of Spider-Man Homecoming, they kind of hint that there is a bigger threat coming, and we probably get that in Captain Marvel. But they've kept this under wraps, man, and it's not a bad reason. Because you're not expecting what happens. It's kind of gone back to being must-see movies. If you're into it, and I thought I would be kind of tapped out. I kind of was for a bit, but Spider-Man hitting them hard, going in with probably one of the best Spider-Man movies, if not of the best MCU movies that I've seen. So yeah, definitely a fantastic little movie to watch. Just kind of weird,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, the One Punch Man game, right? So One Punch Man, the second season is about to drop or already has dropped. What's this about the game that's coming out, man?
To be honest, I haven't heard too much about it yet. It's I know people are very excited because for anyone who are you an anime person, by the way?
Yes, I am.
So you've seen One Punch Man?
I have. I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to anime games that isn't Steins Gate because I've been burned badly before.
Yeah? Tell me all about Steins Gate then.
Steins Gate's great. Actually, I have it on the PS3. It's just a fantastic in-universe kind of game. The same with Persona as well. The Persona series is fantastic, but other than that, I'm kind of hesitant. So
yeah, I know what you mean. It's hard to. Now I've heard the Attack on Titan game is great.
It is,
but like the one thing about a One Punch Man game is like, as anyone who watches the show, for anyone who may be listening at home and hasn't seen it, it's basically about a superhero who can kill anyone with one punch, and he's incredibly bored that he can't, get into a fight that doesn't end in 2 seconds. So how do you translate that to a game? Like it'd be like having the cheats on those old game in the 90s where it's like insta kill.
Yeah. But see, I don't think that's a bad thing because there are kind of Saints Row 4 is a game that I reference an awful lot because I love it, and it kind of is the same thing. You know, it's the best Superman game I've ever played because that's kind of what you are. You know, I modded GTA 4, and I've only ever played GTA 4 with mods because I hate the game. But you can basically be Iron Man or whatever, and the physics and everything have worked out with Saints Row 4. So it actually isn't a broken game like playing with like dodgy mods from a couple of years ago. But I think something like that's cool because you are overpowered and it can work, but you have to either go the comedic route, which I think is probably the better way to go and the way they will go, or just kind of go rampage like the old Hulk games or what's the game called? Prototype. Prototype one's very similar to it as well. So I think that I'm cautiously optimistic, but also I'll probably wait and I won't be pre-ordering it.
Yeah. Well, I'd be cautiously optimistic too. You're right. If it's true to the One Punch Man like sort of aesthetic,
Yeah.
then it'd be more on the witty end of things than like a sort of beat 'em up type thing.
Yeah.
Certainly, the fact that they have Moomin Rider, the kind of slightly useless but very chipper superhero on the bicycle, as a main character in the game, certainly seems to be leaning into that more deadpan humor type thing than like something like a Marvel versus Capcom or something like that. I don't think there are enough humorous games out there, so I'd be cautiously excited, we'll say, but certainly I hope it's very good.
And on that point as well, the Steam sale is happening at the moment. Now, I don't know if you're a big PC gamer man or not, but for anyone who is, this is like Christmas for everybody.
Yeah.
This is our Christmas for the gamers, not for the wallets.
Yeah.
But and I remember when. Are you a Steam gamer?
I am a Steam gamer. To be honest, I wouldn't really track the new releases. I kind of go for the more retro things because there's a lot of games from the 90s that you can't find anymore except on Steam. So, but yeah, I do love Steam. I think it's great that, we were kind of talking an episode or two ago about a sort of Netflix for video games and all this kind of access to it and all that kind of stuff. And I think Steam's great in that way. You can just pay £1 and take a chance on something, and it encourages you to game regularly.
Well, there are two things that I want to bring up on this. There's the obvious sale itself and the exploit that popped up, but also Google Stadia might be in trouble at the moment. And if anyone doesn't know, Google Stadia is kind of like, as you said, the Netflix for games, where you kind of rent a console off Google in the cloud and then you play it. But it looks like that's going to be hammered by licenses, and you're not going to own the games and all that kind of stuff. So that's worrying.
I'm confused. How does renting a game online work?
Right. So with Steam, you kind of do that anyway, right? You have the key, but you don't really own the game. This works by you rent the infrastructure and the game.
Okay.
So,
okay.
basically, instead of having instead of having like a $2,000 gaming PC, right?
Right.
You pay a set amount to Google. I think the Pro version is like $20 a month or something, and then they will provision you a computer in the cloud on their infrastructure, and then you get a set amount of games. But that was all great, and look, that's cool. But the problem with that is now you have licensors coming in and want a piece of the pie. So Microsoft have their own, Nintendo have their own, Ubisoft. It's just eventually owning this thing won't be $20. You're probably looking at $80 a month or something like that, which for me I don't think is very worth it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's happening with the streaming services as well. If you're a Star Trek fan, you have to watch Discovery on Netflix, but you have to watch Picard on Amazon Prime. Yeah. It's like things that it's becoming harder and harder to just enjoy things. It's almost tribal. You have to commit to one service or commit to one this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And I know there's always a competitive market in everything, and this is nothing new in that respect. But it is a shame that you can't play certain games, like maybe the Spiderman game, unless you have a PS4, for example, or something like that. It's a shame.
Yeah, it is. And look, I'm not going to diss the market, but I think there's a line between competitiveness and greed, and that's one thing that was always kind of offset by pre-owned games. right? So, and they tried to do this as well. Like, this is something new. The gaming media has been trying to do this for the gaming industry have been trying to do this for a very long time, where you bought a pre-owned game and you had to pay. Remember the pass?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember that. Was that around the PS3 or PS4 generation?
PS3, there was the Game Pass. So if you bought, just say you bought Dead Space, and you wanted to go online, you had to kind of put in the code and stuff like that, and it was just crazy. It was 20. There was code in the game that you bought, but if you traded that game in, obviously that code was invalid, so you had to kind of pony up like 10 or 20 euros, and it was just crazy.
See, that's such a shame because, like, I mean, I was buying PSP games in Rage just this week. I love finding old games for old consoles and like picking them up the way you pick up old books or something like
Yeah.
that. And what has me worried, and maybe I've just seen too many episodes of the Jimquisition, but it's the more they take away the hard copy aspect of games, the easier it will be for you to buy a game and then have your access to it denied, even beyond a rental capacity, as you mentioned.
Well, here's the thing, and it kind of ties in something else. We will jump back to Steam, but I'm a big fan of iPods and MP3 players, right?
Right.
For the same reason as this. Spotify is great, and I use Spotify at work, and I have it on my phone and all that kind of stuff. But
And we're on it.
and we're on it, yes, we are. Spotify is great, but it doesn't have everything, right?
Mm.
And not only does it not have everything, but certain things will just disappear. So certain genres of music won't be on it, for example. Certain bands, like Annihilator, half their discography isn't on it, So when you kind of give the power away to stuff in the cloud, you don't really own it. And it's not really real. Like there was a case there, I think Microsoft closed down their book service, and all those books are gone.
Really? Like, are we
Yeah.
talking like original titles that can't be found anymore, or?
Well, anything that was on that service is gone. Now, they have issued refunds apparently so you can buy them elsewhere, but all the annotations and stuff are gone. And I'm like, look, this is the problem, with giving over that. How much trust are you actually giving over to these companies? Like with GOG, for example, they actually give you the game so you can just have it there and then you can boot it up anytime, and that's great. Steam, on the other hand, it's all got to do with DRM. So if DRM shuts down, and it's something that has to be addressed eventually, but not without a lot of growing pains. And the fact that in 2019 I still use an iPod, kind of speaks volumes, because I don't trust the music industry, with good reason. Spotify, they might have a lot, but it's gone. And same with YouTube.
Yeah.
They might have a lot, but stuff gets taken down, and then you're not left with anything, But I promised my iPod story. All right, so my iPod I've had for 6 years, 6-7 years, and before that I keep buying them, but they're getting progressively more and more hard to find.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I'm glad you said that because
Yeah.
I misplaced. I will also be the same as you. I have a Walkman and I misplaced it for 8 weeks, and I actually went to Dundrum. I can't find any shop that sells them anymore. Did you have
No.
that problem as well?
Yeah, man. You can't, like, unless you want to spend like 300-400 euro on Amazon, and even then, the problem becomes if you buy an iPod. Basically, what happened with mine was it died. Like, died. It's not coming back. Like, the hard drive was going for a while, and that's something to watch out for if you have an iPod Classic. The hard drive eventually fails, and it completely fails and won't even power on. So the thing is just, there's no fixing it, right? It's gone. But the battery also is pretty bad in it. So, if you have that, watch out. And the risk of paying 400 or 500 euro for an iPod, which might happen in 2 or 3 years, is pretty strong, right? So I was like, okay, I need to move on. I need to say goodbye. So I did, and I bought like a MP3 player from Amazon. I paid 200 euro for it, and you can pop in an SD card and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And it's grand, But I get a call 2 days later from my friend going, "Hey, I have an iPod. I don't use it at all. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Oh man, I wish you had told me this before I spent 200 euro." But anyway, the way I see it is, that iPod works great, and I'm using it, and I'm very, very happy to have it. I'm very appreciative. And I have a spare, and I think that's kind of the way to go now, to have spares, because as great as the iPod is, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm so happy that I have one. How many more years am I going to get out of? Like 4 years, maybe.
It
And then it
depends.
does
I
so.
think weirdly enough, if you get an older one, you're slightly better off
Yeah.
because it's like they're built to be sturdier.
See,
When it
that's
got into, I suppose, a bit like the games consoles.
and the and the,
When you
and the
were getting
Max and the Max.
Advax, yeah,
Yeah.
it's because when they were coming out one a year, one every half a year, they were designed to kind of burn out after a year, so they break when the new one was about to come out. Not that specifically, but generally speaking, we'll say they were designed to last about a year or two.
Yeah. That's it, and like the iPod I had beforehand, it actually was one of the older ones.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh, really?
yeah, like the girl I bought it off had it for years, so I think it was from like 2005 or something. It was crazy. It was one of the very very first ones. This one I think is a newer one, so I don't expect it to last as long. But for the time being, I'm happy enough. But I would say, if you're like us guys, MP3 players, don't cast them off. They're quite good, and they're the hardest problem I find from an old iTunes addict, I suppose, would be finding a replacement for it. Music Bumble or Music Bee is a good alternative.
Okay, and we can't talk for iPods without asking what kind of music you listen to on it. Then
Sorry, sorry, my hay fever is pretty bad, so trying to battle the coughing. Yeah, man, I listen to loads of things on it. So a lot of metal, a lot of electronic music, punk. I love Taylor Swift. Poppy's great. Everything. And then a rake of podcasts. So that's kind of it. And what I would say, well, Spotify gives you the opportunity to kind of listen to loads of bands. When I because I use Spotify for like in the premium for like 4 days. I liked it, but I didn't feel like I was consuming music, if that makes sense.
yeah, I get you. It's kind of like the way on YouTube you're not like watching a series, you're watching content. It's that
Kind of.
slight
It's
difference.
it's more like, do you know when you play a game and you put the disc in and you play or the cartridge in and you play it and then you finish it and you take it out and you put it on your shelf and you're like, oh, I finished it. That was great.
Yeah.
And compared to you go to Steam and hit uninstall, it's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of like just endlessly passing time. There's no end to it.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly,
suppose is the
exactly.
idea.
And that's, I suppose people are like, oh, you're such a zoomer or boomer or whatever. I'm like, yeah, a little bit, but for me, I'm kind of like, I'll stick with my MP3 players. Spotify is great if I want to discover new music or if I want to find something random, but until they sort this stuff out, we're going to have the same problem. And the fact that video games are going away, I don't trust it.
Yeah, because wasn't there a game kind of semi-directed by Guillermo del Toro that now
Correct.
doesn't exist
Well,
that we can't find because of copyright or something?
it's a demo for Silent Hills called PT, and it is on the PS4, or was on the PS4 for free. Basically, it was up there, and yeah, it's gone now. So PlayStation 4s with it on the hard drive are still there, and they're going for hundreds, thousands even. Like, it's even going back, there was a good video by Outside Xbox or Outside Extra. That's a really good channel on YouTube. Video games you can't play anymore, games you can't play anymore, and it's basically because of licensing. Once licensing goes, that's it. They're removed from the store, and that's it. They're never coming back. Unless you have the physical disc or unless you have them on your hard drive. So I have a couple of games that, like Scott Pilgrim, the game. That's a great game. That's really good. Can't play that anymore.
I've heard that's a great one.
It is. I'm lucky enough to have it on my 360. And yeah, it just sucks. It's one of those things where I'm like, if you're gonna drop the money down, ensure that's there forever. But I suppose even what's forever, you can buy a disc and the disc gets scratched,
Yeah, I know, but like it's like weirdly contradictory because they're pushing so many online multiplayer games.
Yeah.
But those games have a limited
Lifespan.
lifespan
Correct.
under that cloud program because people have to keep playing for them to exist.
Well, yeah, even games like FIFA or SmackDown or WWE or whatever. Once those servers go down, and they go down after every year, you buy them, and it's like, well, I can't do anything online now, so this sucks, And it just shows you, because those games age out so quickly, but there's still people spinning up Quake servers and there's a great Star Wars game, Battlefront 2, the mod for it. People spin up Battlefront 2 servers. So and Galaxy, Star Wars Galaxy, the servers for that too, and it's like make games to last, and people play them instead of pushing them. You know what I mean?
No, because like I'm still playing like Arkham Asylum at the moment. Like
Great
good
game.
games do have a longevity, but I don't think there isn't a continued source of money in a really good single player hard copy game. Like it's all in the sort of it's like a bit like in Spotify in that way. It's the consistent top ups of interactivity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's just for me, I'm like, look, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, we're back in my day, but it was a case of
we are leaning into that a little bit, but I get where you're coming from.
We are, but the thing about it is, it's like I think the days of a game collection are coming to an end. That isn't on the disc or isn't on the hard drive, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Now, I'd say the Steam collection that I have now, it's full of a lot of garbage. It really is, but it's also like, if you had that on the shelf, you probably wouldn't go to it, right? But sometimes you spin up like Honey Pop or something, and you're like, oh, cool, I want to play this horrible deviant game that I really enjoy.
You haven't played Honey Pop, have you?
Oh man, Honey Pop's great. I've played 14 hours of Honey Pop.
I tried watching a YouTube Let's Play of it. It seemed very terrifying to me.
Here's the thing, though, right? The actual game itself isn't great, but it has a really the basic mechanic is Bejeweled, and I like Bejeweled, so I just like playing Bejeweled. So I'm just like, okay, man, this is embarrassing that this is on my thing. But then my friend, she's like, oh my god, Honey Pop's the best game ever. I'm like, wow. Okay.
I feel bad for slagging it off. It did have a very good sense of humor.
It does. It's funny. It's really funny. And then the story goes absolutely crazy. But it's not safe for work, guys. That is a warning right there. But it's fun. Weeb games are hilarious, and you get a good one actually. And then they're great. Like what's it? School? No, School Days. What's it? Old School or something? It's one when you're in college anyway. Roommates, that's it. Oh, School Days is something else completely different. don't
and then
play.
You've got
don't play that.
I've played the pigeon one. What's the one where you're dating pigeons?
Yeah, so the one I'm talking about there is Roommates, and that's a good one, which I have played.
I'll check it out.
What's a pigeon? Haffle boyfriend. Haffle boyfriend is
Hatoful boyfriend,
that's
something
it.
like that.
Yeah,
I've played Doki Doki as
Doki
well, which
fantastic.
I somewhat regret, but it was amazing. But
it was, yeah.
If you've played it, you know.
Yeah, but again, I just need to be clear. No one plays School Days. Don't play that. Like, watch a video on why that's the case. It's on a lot of lists not to play or whatever. And I've never played it for the record. I was just getting, I don't think it's even on Steam for that reason. But yeah, there's a lot of really, really good Weeb games on Steam, and I don't think I would have bought those or played those if they weren't already available.
Well, that's the flip side, because we talk about it's a shame that the games are dying out on hard copies and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it kind of likens to when TVs come out. Do people wonder where cinema's going to go away? Like, I think they always survive in some shape or form, Yeah,
you know what? That's a very good comparison. I think that's a very, very good comparison, and leaning into why Steam comes up is because it is the sale. Now, I remember when the flash sales were a thing. They were great. Where you could pick up Skyrim for like €1. And I did. It was great. But now they're doing the thing where they're gamifying it, right? So now it's the Grand Prix. The Steam Grand Prix sale. And that's kind of the gimmick now. So every time you buy something, you can earn amount of points. And then when you play certain games, do certain actions, you get points which you can spend for vouchers or for up with your profile like that, right? Now, why do I bring that up? Because for anyone who doesn't live on the internet, there is an exploit out in the wild for one of the games. So the Steam sale is actually broken, right?
Right.
There's a game called Starbound. I think it's like €9. I got it for €9. Spend some money, right?
Right.
And then you can earn points. Now, there is a soda. There's achievement for, or points for drinking a soda. So every time you drink a soda, you get 1 point, right? And then you can build up those points and then spend them to boost, and then that's how you build up cash. Okay, so that's the basic nuts and bolts of the game. Starbound doesn't have a lockout mode, so you can run mods on it. One of the mods is to generate the soda. So
I think I see where this is going. Yeah.
What happens is you can just generate the soda either by using admin command, so you can give yourself admin credentials and then just generate soda, right? Or you can craft a soda from the ground, which is what the mod allows you to do, and then you can just click soda over and over and over and over again. Now, initially, it has been patched, right, a little bit. You could just do this for ages. People were making a fair amount of money out of it, maybe 30 or 40 euro, and using it, right? But now you can only do this up until the amount you spend. So if you spend about tenner, you get X amount, but you have to spend. It needs to balance out. But still, if you're looking for a way to quickly level up or get some cool things, pick up Starbound, install the exploit, and away you go. So,
excellent. So that's Starbound for anyone who just wants to generate free gift vouchers and Steam points.
Yes. And the reviews are great. One is Steam Summer Sale is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits, and that's on YouTube and it's going through it. Yeah. But yeah, you're actually reading the review of Starbound. People are like, the best game ever, or loads of references to soda and stuff like that. So here's the thing, the actual game itself looks really super fun, and I don't regret buying it at all.
I think I've actually played this. This is kind of like where you're in a spaceship, but you're also building things on farms and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yes,
exactly,
I have played this. Yes, that was great fun.
Yeah, it seems like super fun, but now you can get free things from it. So use with that knowledge what you will, folks. And this is going out on Phoenix FM. This is going out on Phoenix FM on a Saturday. Don't worry, it was still there because the Steam sale is on until the 9th. So yeah, you've got time. So yeah, run over to Steam and do that. But they have fixed it to an extent where you can only exploit it up to the amount you spend. So, drop some cash, buy some things, and then use it. So it is what it is. Unless this is a massive marketing ploy, which, if that's the case, well done, Steam. Bravo.
At least do it for a good game.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, And I've bought some cool things on Steam already. So
I was going to ask, so have you got any recommendations for anyone who might have Steam accounts?
Yeah. Sorry, guys, trying to deal with my cough there. So yeah, I picked up basically stuff on my wish list that I've been looking to buy for a while. I'm gonna boot up Steam, and I don't want to say this wrong. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. So anyone on the stream now is gonna quickly see my Steam account. So let's see. Come on, guys. Yeah. So yeah, like the great thing about Steam is it doesn't only have games, it has a lot of software, right? And what I really like about it is I like the fact that you can buy video editing software, or you can buy photo editing software, music software, and so I picked up a few bits. I picked up music software, I picked up video editing software, and then I picked up game making software. So, what's it? App Game Maker. I picked that up because that looked like fun. And yeah, with this ever decides to load up. Okay, here we go. So again, anyone on the live stream now will be able to see it. Here we go. So yeah, if you look down in the chat in the stream, you're actually able to see my my Steam console there. So there's a few things there to look at, and you can see the chat. You can see the who's winning or not. Basically, oh yeah, my team won. Great. So if you win as well, you can actually pick up free games as well. So that's kind of cool. So what's on my wish list now? Come on. Yeah.
We need one of those like technical difficulties.
I know.
So yeah, standby signs or something.
Yeah. So pretty much like I have Pixel Game Maker up at the moment, MV, which is the newest one. More Dahao is one that I'm kind of tempted to buy. It's basically
how come?
It just looks really fun. It's like a Middle Ages game where you get to kill people with like melee combat that isn't broken. So it's €24 though. I don't want to spend €24 on it. If it drops down to like €12 or like a tenner, I will buy that straight away. Asprite, which is a sprite making software, I probably won't buy that because I already have something similar to it. Empire of Sin isn't out yet. And Cyberpunk 2077, you can actually get your pre-order out for that now at the moment as well. So I'm kind of,
Oh, I'd say that'll fly out very quickly.
yeah, I'd say so. So yeah, just going to the. I want to say this correctly. So there is a game that I've been looking to buy for a while, and it is Katana Zero. So yeah, you have a look there. Katana Zero is something that I have heard about, never got a chance to play it, and I'm actually really glad now that I picked it up. I picked it up for €9, so that's my recommendation, man. Katana Zero.
Excellent. And like, why would that be ahead of all the other like wonderful titles you mentioned? What's its like unique selling point?
It's like another way Shovel Knight was kind of like a throwback, and
Oh, kind of a retro game.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a retro game. It's like Shinobi but with 8-bit graphics instead of like 16-bit graphics, and the soundtrack is amazing. It's like proper synthwave.
Excellent.
It's fantastic. So, look, even listen to the soundtrack, guys. The soundtrack is fantastic. So yeah, that's my hard recommendation. If you want if you want to pick up something, go for that. Katana Zero.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll certainly check it out myself.
And if anyone wants to add me on Steam, Dara Dux. So go for it. Other than that, yeah. So, of course, and what's it? What did we say? The game was called Starbound. So yeah, pick up Starbound as well.
For the sodas.
For the soda. Well, it's a fun game too, but if you want the sodas, go for it.
For the week that's in it, yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening on Phoenix FM, we're going to go to our break. If you're joining us on the stream, we're going to keep going. I think we're going to do a stream more often, man. I'm actually liking this.
Yeah, I'm digging this too.
So yeah, if you want to check us out on the stream, if you're catching this in the podcast or whatever, yeah, go over to NerdTux or else Nerd to Know Media on Twitch, and you'll be able to get the stream there because they're synced up. It doesn't really matter which one is which. And yeah, also Nerd to Know Media is our website. nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com is how to catch us over email. Nerd to Know Media on Twitter. We finally have a consistent social media presence, so I'm pleased about that, Kane. I really am.
Yeah, sure. One day at a time. Let's see if we can build up those numbers and let more people know about us,
Exactly. Okay, so swapping gears here a bit away from the video game kind of things. What do you... Well, actually, no, we can't. We have one more thing. The Doom movie. There's another Doom movie coming out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah?
Now, I love the original Doom film, like a lot.
This is Doom, the book with the giant snakes in it.
No, Doom.
Just to clarify.
No, this is Doom. Doom.
Doom.
Doom.
My
yes.
Apologies, bit of technical difficulty at my end. Doom, like the video game.
The video game,
right?
yeah.
With all the killing all of the Hell Satan monsters and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. The fantastic game by John Romero back in the 90s, who I love more than anything, is this game. I love Doom a lot, and I love Quake a lot. But I love the original movie with The Rock and Judge Dredd.
Yes, I have seen that. I'm so sorry. Yes, I know what you're talking about now.
Yes.
God.
And here's another thing, actually, as well. I didn't realize this guy was in Doom until I was looking at the lineup for Dublin Comic Con 2019. The guy who plays the Night King in Game of Thrones was Reaper? What? I can't remember the actual name of the character. Reaper was Judge Dredd, Karl Urban. But yeah, he was actually in Doom.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, what? This is crazy. His name is Richard Brake. So yeah, that he was before he was, basically the face of Game of Thrones. He was in a really, really underappreciated movie of Doom, and I think that's a horrible shame. Honestly, honest to God.
Yeah. Especially when you look at the sort of curve of like those. There was a lot of video game movies out in the 2000s, and a lot of them didn't even try. Doom had its heart in the right place, and it was made by people who cared about the game. You could tell that much.
Yeah, well, Grim was the name of the character in.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? Look, an autograph with him is $30. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get him to sign Doom because why not?
Of course, and sure, getting into the talks and the Q&As are free.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, funny story, because I actually was on Game of Thrones when the Night King was revealed.
Oh yeah.
So if this is the second time this has happened in my life, right? where I was in a film with somebody who was in something that I loved, and I didn't realize they were in it until afterwards. So this is the second time this has happened. The first time I was in a movie called Poison Pen, and it's a movie. It's actually quite good. It's not bad. It's honestly
quite an endorsement.
It's not bad actually. I saw it in the IFI and I actually really quite enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to be that good.
Yeah.
I still can't get my hands on the DVD, so hopefully one day I will. Yeah. It's called Poison Pen anyway, right? And the main character is this failed author who ends up, he has to work for like a gossip magazine and he hates it, you know. But we were interviewed as like a metal band, and this is before I was actually in I was in a band at the time. This before I was in like the band that we were parodying. We were actually doing a parody of the genre of music I play now. Right. And, life imitating art, right? But yeah, so we were doing that, and he was interviewing us, you know, and it ends up with me, you know, saying a couple of lines and then getting him in headlock. All right. So we're there hanging out the whole day, and I'm like, oh, this guy's really cool. Afterwards, I realized who he was. Right, he was actually in. You might not remember this, Kinks. You're a little bit younger than me, but there was a series that came around the same time as Power Rangers. It was made by Saban as well, and it was called Mystic Knights of Tirnanog. Do you remember it?
Vaguely, yes. I did. I think it would have been on Den TV and
it
everything.
Was.
Yeah.
It was on like just around the same time as like. But after Power Rangers was huge, so they were looking for, you know, this is when. What's it? The Masked Rider and all this kind of stuff were out as well. Yeah. Mystic Knights Here No just appeared, and it's woefully terrible, but I love it, and I have it on. I have the whole series, but he's actually in it, and I didn't know that. So I'm really annoyed that I was in a movie with him. I didn't get his autograph or anything, and I'm like, I would have just fanboyed out horrifically if I had known that he was there. So yeah. Second time in my life that's happened, so that sucks. So I definitely will be going to see your man from Doom and be like, hey man, I was in Game of Thrones with you. I don't care about that. Sign my stuff because you're in Doom. But yeah.
Oh no, I'm sure he's like the Dublin Comic Con. They're good for getting sound guests, from my limited experience. And plus, you know, he was in Batman.
He was in Batman
Begins,
Begins, yeah.
Night King, like he was Joe Chill. That's a small but very instrumental part, you know.
Oh man, for sure. Like, and I think most people kind of forget that, you know. But Batman Begins is weird. The whole series is very weird casting. Like, lots of randomers are in it, you know. Particularly the third one as well. It has random wrestlers in it.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about Batman Begins, sure. The king of Westeros is in it.
Yeah,
as a young
that's
kid.
True. The kid, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So,
Joffrey Lannister, that's it. Sorry, it's been a while since I've watched Game of Thrones.
We'll get more into Dublin City Comic Con next month when it's kind of ramping up to it, and we'll have Olivia on the show as well. Olivia's great.
Oh, fantastic! Love Olivia.
So looking forward to that as well, man. But already can't believe that. But look, the Doom movie, I would say watch it. It's great. There's a new one apparently coming up. I haven't seen it. I don't have high hopes. The Rock is in the original one. By the way, I was at the cinema last night. The Rock is in like 8 movies at the moment. What's going on? The man, every single ad had The Rock in it. I'm not joking. There wasn't one that did not have The Rock in it.
Yeah, because there's the Jumanji series, there's Rampage, there's the one where he's climbing the buildings, Skyscraper, yeah. There was Moana a year or two ago. Obviously, that's like there's like
Fast and the Furious is the big one now.
Yep. The spin-off. He's also got a fair few films with Kevin Hart. Like I think is he modeling himself to be like, you know, the way back in the 80s there was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger film every year and all that, or every 3 months. And
you know,
all that kind
I'm
of
okay
stuff.
with that. Like I actually went to, I not only did I go see Skyscraper, but I went to go see it in the big screen with that movie is dumb as hell. It's so stupid. But I enjoyed it because look, I hate The Rock as a wrestler. Like I really didn't. I never liked him as a wrestler. But as an actor and as a human, awesome. He's just great, man.
Oh yeah, he's a very charming presence, certainly.
Just as a wrestler, I'm like, oh, you're terrible. But as everything else, you know, it's fun. Yeah. So look, if you go, and I want, you know, when you go see the next time you're in the cinema, let me know because literally he's in everything. I'm excited about that Jumanji movie though. That Jumanji movie is gonna be fun. The second one.
Yeah.
or third one, I suppose. Now, wouldn't it be? This new series.
It depends what way you're counting it. It's like Jumanji is one of those series where you probably best not keep track of continuity. Just take them as they arrive.
Fair, fair.
I'm sure that's the way they'd want it too.
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of what I got from it as well. But one final thing that I want to kind of touch on real quick, or because we're nearly finished, man. This is the quickest hour of the week for me.
You get talking about Steam and time just goes. I guess
It's just gone. It's just gone. Right, Sandman.
I'm really glad we had time for this. Yes, it has been announced this week or early last week that there's going to be a Sandman series developed by Netflix.
Yes.
With Neil Gaiman involved and the screenwriter of Wonder Woman, I believe Alan Heinberg, and David S. Goyer, who did great things like The Dark Knight, less good things in my opinion, like Batman vs Superman, and of course the Blade films as well. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh man, I love Sandman.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot. I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan. Always have been, really. But Goyer, ugh.
Goyer seems to be as good as the person who he's working with. Again, Dark Knight and Batman vs Superman are on his resume.
Yeah, that's true. And Dark Knight is the best Batman movie ever.
It's just it might be one of the best movies ever. Whereas the fact that we're still talking about it is saying something.
Well, I used to have a poster on my wall of it, so it's one of those movies where it just is what it is. I'll never not like that movie. But he did Blade 2. Pretty much any movie which you enjoyed and also kind of hated, he did, which is a really weird career to have. It's like he did the best and the worst. So, but look, Neil Gaiman is involved. Amazon, it's Amazon, isn't it?
No, it's actually surprisingly it's Netflix. I assumed he'd signed some exclusivity deal considering Good Omens and American Gods, but here we are. So
all right, well look. Netflix have the money, obviously, to make this happen. It's not something that really, like, the series itself isn't something that requires an awful lot of money. So, cautiously optimistic.
Yes, but like American Gods, it requires an awful lot of imaginations. I must confess, I didn't really enjoy the American Gods TV series. I thought it was a bit oversimplistic.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't a fan of it.
I've liked what I've seen of Good Omens, so hopefully. I mean, it's an ambitious series, I'll give you that. Do you think they could actually pull it off?
I think doing it in a series rather than in a movie is a much better way to go.
Very true. That's an excellent point.
Because each season could be a different book or a different character or a different kind of interaction. Like, it's so deep and so... It's like doing a Silmarillion. I don't think you could ever do Silmarillion because that'd be silly. Yeah. I've been trying to read that book for 15 years. I wish I was joking. I really do.
No, I completely believe you.
There's too many
You're
trees.
absolutely right about it being like TV would work for it, because like that vignette, that story of the Sandman meeting Hob every 100 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
That would never make it into a movie, but it would great 45 minutes of television.
Exactly. You can do things in TV which you can't do in movies. Like, and the reason why is because pacing, right? If that montage was put into a movie, it'd be weird and disjointed. It's pretty much what the latest DCEU suffered from. Random nonsense that didn't make any sense, but would have if it had been expanded out. And I think this is a much better way to go. I am really excited about it, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Not so much about Watchmen. I think that's a different topic, which we'll probably get into next week or when it comes out. I really not a fan of what they're going to do with Watchmen. It looks kind of ridiculous. But Sandman, Neil Gaiman, you can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Even if it's just to give it a try.
Exactly, and sure, that's the kind of series Sandman is. You mentioned the Silmarillion. Do we have time to talk about the Lord of the Rings TV series in development?
We sure do.
Well, apparently we've got confirmation that they are filming it in New Zealand this week. Do you think that the Lord of the Rings could work as a TV show, or
depends? If they're just going to make what they've already done, that's kind of ridiculous and horrible waste of money. To be honest with you, like, the Lord of the Rings is perfect. The Hobbit isn't. Fix the Hobbit, Fix the Hobbit. Do the like, I'm a big fan of the Tales from Middle Earth. Those series.
Yeah.
Do those.
I read that one. Yeah.
Like one of my favorite series in that is the Tales of Isengard. I think it's book 7. That's phenomenal. That's a great read. Um, there's so much of Tolkien that they could do. I just don't see the point in remaking Lord of the Rings. It's like we have the Lord of the Rings called the Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings. It's amazing. Just I don't know. I'll watch
I
it.
know.
I'll watch it. Obviously, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna be happy watching it.
I think we've just floated the idea. Should we do like a Lord of the Rings Hobbit retrospective? Should that be something we should do further down the line?
I think so, but I'm still
Yes.
I'm still angry about the Hobbit.
I have a lot of feelings on the Hobbit.
Yeah, like to put this in perspective, I have the Hobbit in Latin. That's how much I love the
Wow.
Hobbit. Yeah. So, and I can read it. That's the worst part as well.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, very impressive.
ah, it is what it is. But yeah, that's how much of a big fan of the Hobbit I am. The point that I is, not like I'll be really upset when we start doing that movie or those movies. But I wish it was a movie, you know. But anyway, yes. So, do we have a release date on that, Kane?
I will check it now. I have it written down in my notes. Uh, I think certainly it seems to be the most expensive TV series ever made because just getting the rights alone
Mm.
cost $1 billion before
Holy
they
cow!
start paying to make it. So
Wow.
this better do well. I mean, I can't see like a Lord of the Rings show passing without some sort of enthusiasm, even if it was terrible. But
Wow, a
yeah,
billion
this is
dollars.
either going to make history or go down as one of the biggest flops ever. Like it has to. There's no way
Well,
like it
see,
can't do anything less or in the middle than that.
here's the thing, though, right? Like, I do think about 10 years Game of Thrones to be remade. Um,
Oh, you think so? Yeah.
yeah, I think they'll do something. 10, 15 years. Like, mark my words. Because obviously they'll do something to line up with the books. Okay, it's like
Yeah.
when Full Metal Alchemist came out and then Brotherhood came out and Brotherhood kind of fixed the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a rare but interesting like point of comparison. Yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of exactly what happened. When you're watching the show, they kind of just made up what they wanted and they kind of went over a cliff. Then Brotherhood came out and they're like, oh hey, it's fixed, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
So yeah, I think they'll kind of do that now, 10, 15 years. But Lord of the Rings, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Talk about Tom Bombadil for 40 minutes? Is that what's going to? If that's the whole reason, I'm like, why?
Well, you've bring up an interesting point. Lord of the Rings is written in a sort of like this chapter will stay here, this chapter will stay here. That could translate,
It
but they
could.
have to be careful.
Yeah,
Like
it could. Like, it could be very, very boring, though. That's the thing. Like, uh, when I go back to reread Lord of the Rings, half of the Fellowship of the Ring does not get read. It gets skipped over because it's all about trees and all about elves. And I hate both trees and elves in books. So I'm like, ugh, and it's very tough to read after the first time. So
yeah,
the problem with this is, there's a lot of investment, and I don't think that will be there because it doesn't have the Game of Thrones subverting your expectations, sex,
yeah.
violence. It really doesn't. It's literally like the progenitor of most fantasy books that exist now, or fantasy that exists in general now. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of a dangerous move. What do you think?
It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I know this will age terribly if the series turns out to be the best things in sliced bread. But if you adapt Tolkien faithfully, the first 2 or 3 episodes won't be all that exciting.
Yeah, that's the truth
But
of it.
if you make it exciting, no one will be happy. So
Yeah.
it's like, which way do you go?
Now, what you could do, you could start off with the War of the Ring.
That's true, actually. Go to territory that
Exactly.
we haven't seen
Yeah,
before. Have
like,
Sauron as a character, you
yeah,
know?
exactly. If you just kind of did that for like the first season, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they're not going to do that because that's too interesting.
It depends on whether they will like be tempted to go with like the things we've seen before or go for the obvious. Like unfortunately I can't find the release date for the TV show. I can find that the director of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is going to be doing the first 2 episodes. So I'd
Oh
say it's
no!
still in relatively early development.
Oh no! That's a bad thing already. Out of the gate, they've fallen over. Out of the gate. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that, Keen. I think, yeah, we'll put that Tolkien retrospective on the docket as well.
It sounds like you've a lot to say about it. I think we should definitely do that soon.
And guys, listen, I want this to be interactive as well. So email us your ideas and we'll do them. Nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com. send us on what you want us to talk about, because that'd be
Yeah, I
great.
mean, let us know. I mean, if people are dying for a retrospective on Hunipop, we'll do that too. We're happy to just, we want to know what the audience wants as well.
Fair. Look, I wouldn't mind that, man. I like that. Playing the game is not bad. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Again, like this is the quickest hour for me of the week. Keen, anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
I suppose a lot of the news I come across, I found on Geek Ireland. I follow them on Facebook. I write for them now and again. I would certainly, if you haven't followed them on Facebook or Twitter already, I would recommend do, because I certainly get a lot of my kind of geeky updates there. What about yourself? Any plugs?
I will just plug our website, nerdtoknowmedia.com. Our Twitter, our Gmail, all that kind of stuff. All Nerd to Know Media. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on Twitch now. Nerd to Know Media on Twitch, or NerdDucks on Twitch. Yeah. So if you're not following us, do, because a lot more content coming up as well. And we're going to try do this every week now, Keen. I think streaming is the way forward.
Okay, I certainly enjoyed tonight. I'd love to do some more.
Fantastic. All right, guys, we will talk to you next week. If you're listening to us on Phoenix 92.5 FM, over on phoenixfm.ie as well. So we will talk to you next Saturday here on Nerd to Know Basis on nerdtoknowmedia.com.